y'all. It's Kui.
It's Mich.
And welcome to the Raw.
To the Raw.
Yes, ma'am. Back again with another one.
Oh, that's cute.
Ain't he?
I was going to text him an update.
You should.
I will.
Yeah, so today we are going to be talking to you guys about 5 tips to starting that project.
Yeah, so, we all stuck at home during this crazy time. So thought it would be a good time to chat about, getting the project started. I know a lot of time, we think about wanting to get something started, but it's just the whole thought of, ground up work is so overwhelming. So we have our 5 tips that have helped us, at least with our projects, the YouTube channel and other independent ventures that we have, and we just hope they're helpful for y'all.
Yes, ma'am. So that was a beautiful intro. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, tip number 1. It's not saturated. That's our first thing. That's the first thing that I want to talk about, because I know a lot of times a lot of things that we want to do aren't necessarily everything doesn't have to be an extremely original idea. If you feel passionate about something and you like something and you want to contribute to that community, then I think go for it. I know there's been talks of natural hair, product market is saturated, and YouTubing is saturated, a saturated market. Influencers are a saturated market. All these things that people are probably think would be a good project for them to get into. There's probably this it's a saturated market type of conversation, and that could really discourage someone from even getting started. So no market is ever too saturated for something you're passionate about. Okay. Ever.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so on to step number 2 is do your research, right? And so piggybacking off of what Micheline said, if it's not an original idea, that means that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. People have been there, done that before, and they've gone through the different trials, trial and error. And so do your research, find out what works, what didn't work for them, find out what sets you apart, right? So if it's not saturated, there's something about you and what you're doing that sets you apart from what everybody else is doing. And so research on it, figure out what exactly it is, who your target audience is, what the niche is, what the need is, and what you're bringing. And then
3 get organized. I think this is actually one that maybe it's one of my favorite tips, and one that's also a little bit difficult, because I think with starting something, organization can be also daunting. It's just there's this the rush of the initial commitment to it, and it's oh, you want to be working on it all the time, you figure okay, I'm passionate about this, okay, step 1, it's not saturated, let's do it, step 2, I've done all this research, and here's the time where it's okay, you know that you want to do this, you've done the research, now it's time to truly organize your thoughts, because I think moving forward without a clear sense of I have to do this, I have to set clear and concise goals, will kind of if you don't do that part now, you're going to end up paying for it later in further steps. So getting organized, calendars, setting goals, this is really critical for the flow of the rest of the project.
Timelines are important. And then number 4 is launch your pilot. And so you've done your research, you've gotten organized, you have your timeline, and so it's time to just do it. Whenever you ask how do I start this project, everyone says just start. And so you launch your pilot and you figure out what works, what doesn't necessarily work, and you gather the feedback, right? And so whether it's a YouTube channel, whether it's a website that you're doing, whether it's an event that you're planning, you do it one time and you figure out what were the kinks in it, how you can flatten it out, make sure that it's perfect, and then
finally, our last step, and also again one that I think is is seeing it through. So I think a lot of times when you've done all these other things, Like they said, like you can't build an empire overnight. Like overnight success is not a thing. Microwave success is not a thing. So really sticking to whatever the vision is, when things look great and when things aren't so great and rocky, like just sticking to the original rush that you had to the beginning, I think is super important to like seeing your vision come to fruition. It's just like continuously believing in the vision that you had originally and working like to go through like the valleys of whatever that project may be.
Yeah. And even if it doesn't turn out exactly how you envisioned it, that's the whole point, right? You go through the phase and then you figure out how you can turn it into whatever you envisioned it to be, because every idea has like greatness to it. It's just about like tweaking it a little bit to make sure that it works. And so these are 5 really quick and easy steps that you can take to guide you whenever you're thinking about launching whatever project that you're interested in doing.
And I was actually thinking as we were talking about this, like, did the different ways that like we went through these steps, this, like with establishing this channel, like the raw, and thinking about like when we were like, okay, first doing our research and looking at like other YouTubers, and then even the first step, like the saturation, it's like everybody's a YouTuber.
Yeah, it's gonna set us apart.
Yeah, like why are we doing this? Like what's our differentiator? And I think, personally, I think we're at the like see it through phase, and now like it's out, it's launched, like we're on a schedule, we've gotten super organized, and now it's just like trying to be really, really consistent and giving y'all content to make sure that, you know, we're able to like reach our goals that we set initially.
Yeah. And I think that we're constantly making changes in order to like fit whatever our vision is, and constantly perfecting the craft, right? And it's like the more that you do it, the more advanced you become in certain things. And
Also, we didn't put this up here, but once like, you know, all these things have settled, being very open to feedback is also going to help with the like success of your project. Like Akuya said about flexibility, like things are always going to change, and the more you are acceptive and receptive of feedback, like I think the better things will flow. Because I mean, honestly, it's like when you see something like a certain way, like it can get hard to step out of your own like mind to truly view what's going on. So asking the people around you, like your friends, like, hey, like what do y'all think? Like could also help like sharpen.
Exactly. And if you're doing it for a specific audience and your audience is the one who's giving you the feedback, then take that, and it's not an attack onto the craft or whatever you've created already. They're just trying to give you advice as to how you can reach that audience that you're trying to reach. So that's all I have. Do you have any other ones that are popping to mind?
No,
I think those are really core ones.
Just
do it. Just start, honestly. That's the number one thing. Just start.
Yep. And so if y'all have any projects y'all been thinking about, things that you are currently working on, feel free to leave us comments. We want to hear about what y'all got going on, or like if there's anything else that you would add.
Questions that you have.
Feel free to comment them.
Yeah, and so that's it. That's all we have for you guys today. Thank you for joining us.
Coming from real, live, and direct from the Raw. Don't forget to like and subscribe.